Hi everyone, and welcome to this quick video focusing on 6 easy terms you can get into your English language essays to make sure you are showing examiners that you know and can use subject terminology effectively. Now, as a warning, it is important to remind any English language students that what you shouldn't be doing in an exam is just feature spotting and using subject terminology for the sake of it. The most important thing is always being able to say something interesting about the text you've been given that shows you really understand it. For videos that look at this in more detail, have a look at my comparing text and approaching unseen text videos. So the first word I want to focus on is Lexis. And Lexis is simply a fancy word for words. You can use Lexis to describe words used by a speaker or a writer in a text, typically when describing them in a general way. So, for example, you may say something like, the speaker has used a range of emotive lexis, or the writer has used lexis typically associated with spoken language. It's a term you can use in any text regardless of genre or what part of the exam you're focusing on, as every text has to have lexis. Number 2 is the word register, which in this context refers to the style of writing or speaking. So you might have a formal register if you were analysing a polite conversation between an employee and his boss. You might have an informal register if you were looking at something like a blog post that has lots of spoken language in it. You may talk about a register changing throughout a text or being typical or atypical of the genre. Again, a really nice, easy word that you can get into almost any English language essay. Bit of a mouthful this one, but again, very easy to understand and apply, and that's polysyllabic and monosyllabic lexis or word choices. Polysyllabic just refers to words that have more than one syllable in them, whereas monosyllabic is words with just one syllable. So if you're reading quite a complex text aimed at an intellectual audience, you may notice the use of lots of polysyllabic lexis and can comment upon this. Similar to if you're reading a text that is designed for a wide audience, or say, for example, you're doing the child language section of the course, there may be lots of monosyllabic words used that you can also comment upon. Now, a really easy one, but I've seen it used often in model answers given by exam boards, and that is numerical figures. It's almost such an obvious technique that people forget that it is used consciously by writers and speakers and can still be commented upon, and of course, it just refers to any numbers that might have been used to back up what a speaker or writer's point is. Often it's used to prove their value or their knowledge on whatever they're speaking or writing about. And again, if you find this in a text and you can say something interesting about it, look out for numerical figures. Another long one here, but again one I've seen used often in model answers, and that's asyndetic or polysyndetic listing, or asyndeton or polysyndeton. Now, if these are new words to you, asyndeton is just a list that doesn't have any connectives between items in a series. For example, I came, I saw, I conquered. And polysyndeton is the opposite. It's a list which has connectives between each item, such as he is brave and honest and kind. Typically, if I found polysyndeton, it's used to emphasize each word or part of the list in turn and slows down the reading or speaking. And asyndeton may do the opposite and focus on the collective impact on whatever is being listed. As always, though, the impact very much depends on the context of the text you're reading, but it's a good thing to look out for, and great if when you're speaking about a list, you can use these terms here to describe it in more accurate detail. So the final one on my list today is triads or triadic structures. Again, super easy to understand. Triadic structure is just a structure where a group of 3 has been used. It may be 3 adjectives in a row. In Key Stage 3 and 4 English, this is typically referred to as a list of 3, or it might be a structure used across multiple clauses. I used a triadic structure in my explanation of asyndetic listing when I used Julius Caesar's famous triad, I came, I saw, I conquered. Again, the key thing is to think about the effect the triad or triadic structure has. What is it emphasizing or what is it repeating? But it should be a very easy one to spot. As always, let's end with using these words in a sentence and seeing the impact they can have on our writing. On the screen, I have a sentence a student may have written. Now, if I were to use just some of the words we've looked at today, I can transform this sentence. So, the writer uses lots of long words, which makes the text seem intellectual, becomes the frequent use of polysyllabic Lexis adds to the formal register created. Same point, but the rewording makes a huge difference in how academic this point can sound. One final example of this, I have the sentence, a list with 3 facts in a row have been used to make the writer sound knowledgeable and shows how bad the situation is. And this has now become, by using numerical figures within an asyndetic list, it adds validity to the writer's voice, with the triadic structure also emphasizing the impact on those involved. So, as a quick reminder, those are the 6 words or key terms that we've looked at in today's video. As always, thank you for watching this video. I hope it has been useful to you. If so, please subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up.
Created using Powtoon.